Hi everyone, I thought I'd show you my bee yard. You can see the hives there. Actually, we're going to go down and get close and take a look. Uh, I have, right now, I have lots of bees in this red hive on the end. And if I get a little bit closer, you'll be able to see them buzzing around. This hive, the pink one's empty. These white hive bodies are empty. But you can see I've got bees in this blue one and in my two yellow hives, this blue hive and this red hive at the end. And I'm going to go down and get really close so that you can see a little bit more. Okay, so now we're in the apiary, and an apiary is a bee yard. It's where beekeepers keep their bees. And you can see, if you look to the left, I have a fence around my bee yard. And I have that there to keep the bears out. Bears love honey. They also love baby bees. Actually, they get a protein from eating bees, and they get a carbohydrate from eating all of that sugar in the honey, and they just love it. So if you're gonna be a beekeeper, you need an electric fence. So we're pretty close right now. I'm a couple feet away from the bees. And actually, I'll try to get some close-up shots of the bees because right now they are very busy bringing in pollen. And also you'll see these jars that I have on the front. That's sugar syrup. Actually 1 pound of sugar to 1 pound of water. So it's a very thick syrup, and they just love it. Actually, right now I have a bee sitting on my nose, so yeah, that's a little bit interesting. Oh, okay, good, he flew off. Here, we'll get a close-up. Okay, so here's a close-up of the bee's entrance. And if you look closely, you'll see that some of these bees have like little yellow bulges on their back legs. Those are their pollen baskets full of pollen. I'm going to slow this down. We'll do some slow-mo, and I'll really, maybe I'll zoom right in. And I bet you're going to be able to see a lot of these bees bringing pollen to the hive. Now, beekeepers don't actually have to feed bees at all. I do this because it helps them build wax in the spring, and you'll get a lot more honey if you can provide them with that. There aren't too many flowers that are producing nectar right now, and nectar is what they need to make honey. And so by giving them this sugar syrup, they're able to spend all of those calories to create wax to store honey. If we take a look inside, you'll see wasps like it too. And actually right now there's a wasp and a honeybee on top of the glass. Now, actually, if they crawl inside, that's where they can really get access, because this jar has a lid with holes in it. And I'm going to pull this out so that you can see what's going on. So this hive will drink this entire quart of sugar syrup in a day, sometimes even less if you've got a busy hive. I hope you found this interesting. Maybe I'll do a little video where I go inside a hive so you can see what it looks like. So before I go in the hive, I'm going to use a smoker, and beekeepers use smoke to put a little bit of smoke into the hive. The bees think that the woods might be on fire or their hive might be on fire, and so what they'll start doing is they'll start eating their honey. They know that if they have to leave a hive, that they'll lose everything that they can't carry with them, and so they'll immediately start doing that. That makes them a little bit more gentle. Fewer of them will be flying around. It also makes it hard for them to smell a special scent called a pheromone that they give off if one has been crushed. If you crush one, they give off a pheromone that tells all of the other bees to attack. And so if you use smoke, it makes it hard for the bees to smell that, and they'll be less likely to attack. So anyhow, we use a smoker. Now, a smoker looks like this. There's billows that blow air. And then on the inside, I'm just putting a bunch of dried weeds and stuff that will burn. And after I get it lit, I'll put this top on and smoke will come out of the tip. So here, I'm going to start it right now. I'm going to use a propane torch to start this. Okay, so I got the fire going. I'm gonna put the lid on. And sure enough, you can see there's smoke coming out of my smoker. I'm gonna, the entrances. All right, and now that that's done, I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to put a bee suit on, because sometimes bees get grumpy when you open up their hives. Not always though. If you're very careful, you can do it and not get stung. But if you accidentally smush one, it can be bad. I'm not going to bother with my gloves. If I get stung on my hand, that's one thing. If I get stung on my face, that's another thing. So I'm just going to use this suit to make sure that I don't get a sting on my face. And hopefully the bees will leave me alone and I won't get any stings on my hands either. Here, I'm going to take this lid off. So now you can see there's an inner cover, and you can see there's quite a few bees right around there. And I'm going to pull this inner cover off. Now, bees like to glue everything down with a special substance they make called propolis. That's what all this stuff is. It's not honey. It actually comes from sap. All right, so there we go. Okay, and you can see there's quite a few bees here. And they're busy building comb here, and they're storing nectar and pollen in there, because that's what bees eat. So let's see, I'm going to smoke them to kind of get them out of the way, so we can take a look at this wax a little bit better. The bees don't really like the smoke that much, so they'll run away from that. And here, I'm actually going to take this off. Now, I don't know if you can see my hand, but I've got a bee running around on it. Bees won't, most of the time, bees won't just sting you for no reason at all. They will sting you if you crush them. And so I need to be a little bit careful here getting this wax off, that I don't accidentally smush one of them. They seem to be very busy on this, but I don't want this here. It makes it hard for me to open up my hive. So guys, you're going to have to figure out a different place to build. And now I'm going to pull out one of these frames so that you can see what they look like. Now they like to glue these frames so they don't move around in the hive. So I'm going to use this hive tool to pry one loose so that I can pull it out and show you. The comb is what they store their honey in. It's also what the queen will lay eggs in and produce bees in. And so it'll be kind of interesting now to take a look and see what's going on. Maybe if we're lucky, we'll even see the queen, but there's only one queen in the hive and there's thousands of bees here. So we'll have to be really lucky if we find her. You'll know the queen because she's a little bit bigger than any of the other bees. Okay, so here we go. Here you can see all of the bees. They're very busy making comb. I don't see the queen here. Let's see on this side. You can also see there's an awful lot of bees. So these cells here, those are capped and they have baby bees in there. And they will hatch out kind of the same way a caterpillar will make a cocoon and then come out a butterfly. Well, the queen will lay an egg in one of these cells and it will grow into a worm, and the baby bees that are already running around will feed that little worm lots of nectar and pollen so that it can grow, and then they'll seal it up just like they sealed all of these, and after a couple of weeks it will emerge as a baby bee. Alright, I'm going to put these guys back in. I'm doing it very carefully. I don't want to crush anybody. There we go. So that's what it looks like in a hive. I don't go into my hives that often because the bees don't really like it that much. And usually when I go into a hive, I do it for a reason. I want to check and see how they're doing. I want to check and see if the queen's laying eggs. Maybe I want to check and see if there's honey that I can harvest. You know, all of those reasons. Or maybe I want to check and see if they're sick, because sometimes that can happen too. So I hope you enjoyed looking at this. I love beekeeping. These are fascinating little animals, and they're pretty easy to take care of once you have all of the equipment. You know, if I want to go on vacation, I don't have to worry about feeding or watering my bees. They'll take care of themselves. And the best part is, late in the summer, I'll be harvesting literally hundreds of pounds of honey, and people will buy it. I use it at home, and it's really nice. I can also make candles and things like that out of the wax. So I hope you enjoyed this. All right, see you later. Bye.